What's going on? It's Astronaut H, and this is the What More Do You Want Network. Now, in this video, I will be discussing the Los Angeles Clippers now that their season is over and they have been eliminated by the Denver Nuggets in the first round of the NBA playoffs. This is just a video of what I think the Clippers need to do going forward and going into the offseason with, I don't know how many question marks that they have looming, but one thing I can say is they have to build in some way towards the future. I don't know what that is, because when you look at this roster for the Los Angeles Clippers, it's very veteran heavy. I don't see any young emerging guys. You look at Kawhi Leonard, you look at James Harden, you look at Norman Powell, you look at Nicholas Batum, you look at Ben Simmons, you look at Ivica Zubac. I'm really not seeing any focal points on when this core of guys is, moves on, what is going to be the next step for the Los Angeles Clippers. I don't see a team that wants to wage things on the future when you bring in Kawhi, sign him to a long-term contract. You bring in James Harden. You brought in Paul George, but he's no longer with the team due to differences, whatever they may be. You look at what this team roster is consistent of, Bogdanovich. It's a lot of veterans. I don't see anybody on this team where I say to myself, well, once the veterans leave, it's going to be his team. I don't see that for this Los Angeles Clippers roster at all. This is a roster where they're going to have to stick it out unless they move guys. And honestly, I don't see Kawhi going anywhere. I don't see James Harden going anywhere. So those two spots are solidified. Those guys are starting. You look at Zubac. He's a starting center in today's NBA. I love Norman Powell. I think he should also be a starter. It's that other position, because Harden will play the one. Who's going to be out there playing the two, whether it's, Norman Powell or whoever it may be. You have Kawhi at the three. I feel like the four can be, because Derrick Jones Jr. is athletic. Let's not get that mistaken. He's athletic, but I don't think Derrick Jones Jr. is one of those guys that you can count on consistently. And I think that's the problem with the Los Angeles Clippers, and it has been for a while, that when you look at a team that struggles, due to one of your star players, mainly James Harden, not showing up in Game 7, you have 7 points. You look at that and you say, we need another player to add to the fold. I don't know who that is or what it may look like for them currently, but this is a Clippers team who are stagnant, in my opinion. New stadium and things like that. We know their owner, Steve Ballmer, is going to throw money at the problem. That's just a band-aid. Unless they get an all-world player that they can add into the fold, I don't see the Los Angeles Clippers doing anything different than what they did this year. And that's the God's honest truth. I don't think that with the group of guys that they have, that's going to catapult them into the Western Conference Finals. I'm not going to say NBA Finals, but the Western Conference Finals, because you lose in the first round. The next best step is for you to get to the second round, possibly the Western Conference Finals, and ultimately the NBA Finals to compete for a championship. I don't think this Los Angeles Clippers team is close. I think they're farther away than what they were when they had Paul George. I think this is a team with a healthy Kawhi Leonard can be very impactful. But when we're looking at the landscape of the rest of the Western Conference, I don't think the Clippers have enough. Can they make a splash? Of course. But who's going to be willing to take on some of those guys, unless we're talking about aspiring contracts and things like that. This is a team that, of course, they're in Hollywood, but they're still fighting an uphill battle because the Lakers are down the street. So if you're saying, okay, let's bank in another year with Kawhi and James Harden, they're going to have to figure out who is the third guy. And by third guy, I don't mean just grab somebody and stick them in a corner. I mean, it's going to have to be one of those impact players, a player that they can count on long term throughout the season. Because let's say Kawhi Leonard only plays 40 games next year, because that's pretty much what he does throughout, the season. Can you really look at this team, look at this Clippers roster and say they're going to be competing for championships in the next 2-3 years? Because I don't. I really can't say that, because again, the West has gotten better. And I look at the teams at the top. You have Oklahoma City, you have Houston, so teams with young cores that's going to continuously get better. I think the Clippers are who we think they are. I think this is it. I think they've reached their ceiling, and I really don't see them being able to compete for championships going into the future. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Los Angeles Clipper fans, NBA fans, basketball fans, or if this is just your first time tuning into the channel, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell to know anytime a video is being uploaded to this channel. It's Astronaut Each. This is the What More Do You Want Network. And I'll catch you guys on the next video.